there's the statistic around 3% of people in Ireland have OCD, but there's obviously different levels of OCD.
And what happens with OCD as well is a lot of the time it's misunderstood and it can be misdiagnosed as well. So a lot of the time if it starts in children or in adolescence, it might look like someone just has a particular routine, or someone might be not have attention in class because actually the thoughts are so distressing or the rituals are so much that actually you're really hyper-focused on doing those things to ease the anxiety. So, for example, get misdiagnosed as ADHD, as autism as well, or anxiety an awful lot of the time. A lot of people get your generalised anxiety disorder when actually it's OCD that they have. So I actually think that figure is a lot higher than what it is.
Misdiagnosis must be a huge part of this. For you, David, 11 is when you started displaying these behaviours. You weren't diagnosed until you were 23. So what were those 12 years like in the interim?
Kind of like walking through a fog. It was just sort of typified by confusion. My day-to-day kind of looked like it felt like I was walking through a minefield, because you kind of walk about and you're not sure what's going to trigger you or set you off, and without sort of a healthy frame of reference for what was happening, I was just kind of a bit confused, a bit lost, a bit scared a lot. OCD is sort of dictated by illogic or irrationality. So it's kind of like this strange internal logic that you develop that only you understand. OCD it's a broad spectrum of behaviour. It's a broad spectrum of thinking. Everyone has different triggers. For me, thoughts of excessive violence would pop into my head when I wouldn't want them to, when I'd be out in public. And then in order to combat them, I would have to do this ritualistic behaviour because you've sort of rationalised it to yourself that this is how you kind of quell them or dispel them.
Sorry, that's something I just never realised, Tara, because when we think of OCD, as you said, we think of having to do certain things, maybe turning on lights on and off. Again, we've got this stereotype view of what it is. Thoughts of violence.
Yeah.
Jumping into people's heads.
Yeah, and that's why it's really distressing. So a lot of the time, a lot of the distressing thoughts can be around violence, and that's either harming people that you actually really care about. They can actually be quite sexual thoughts as well, so performing sexual acts with people that you know that you shouldn't perform them, or with animals and things. And also there can be a lot of religious thoughts with that, and that's why a lot of the time it goes misundiagnosed, is because the people have so much shame and guilt. And that's a lot of the internal. So you've got a thing called pure OCD as well, where it's actually the ritual acts are completely internal, and a lot of that is linked with actually those way more distressing thoughts.